Let's take a quick look at some of the pens that I've made in the past, Kitless pens. These are 4 of my more recent successful ones. My mistakes we won't go into, but I went through a lot of those in the past. The first one is aluminum. This is a rollerball pen. I did not put a clip on this pen. It was done partially on the metal lathe. I cut the tenon and threaded it on the metal lathe. The rest of it was done on my wood lathe. The next one is black ebonite. I made the section and the body of this pen. The cap is still a work in progress. I don't have enough material to make a pen with a clip on it, so I might have to either order some more ebonite or make it clipless or choose another material to add to it. Not sure what we're going to do there yet. The next pen is Cumberland. This pen uses an El Grande feed, and with the El Grande feed I used the 10x1 die, tap and die. Actually just a tap, I guess, because the threads were already on the El Grande feed system. And the cap, of course, is clipless. The last one here, I made the whole pen including the feed, all out of Cumberland again, and I used a Bach feed system on this, and the cap is has a screw-on finial. So let's take a look at some of the tools that we're going to use for our project here. To start with, we've got a center drill, and what this is a little pointed drill bit kind of thing for making a starter hole, and that helps us when we get in with drill bits to make sure that we're starting out in the center and keep everything lined up. For the section of the pen, we're using both the A and the K bits. For the body of the pen, we're using a P bit, and for the cap of the pen we use the 7/16, and then we'll step down to probably a W bit. It depends on the diameter of the end of your section. You want to have it just a little bit larger than this, so when you put the pen together or put the cap on, it starts to line it up so that the threads go on nice and easy. As far as the taps and dies, if you are going to use an El Grande feed, that has a 10mm/1 thread, so you can just use that tap. That will come in a lot of sets. I got my set over at Harbor Freight, and that came with it. It was a pretty good deal on prices. If you're going to use the Bach feed system that I'm using, you can use that 10mm tap and die. However, the wall thickness on the body of the pen is going to be just a little bit thinner, and I found when I was doing my casein pen here it was too thin and it chipped, so that's why I went with a 9mm by 0.75 set that I ordered off of eBay, and that gives me just a little bit more wall thickness on the body of the pen. For the outside of the body and for the cap, I ordered the 12mm triple start. I ordered that the first time that the IAP did a group order on that. I think I've had it for quite some time. And then I've got a 250 thousandths reamer here. I use that for the end of the section where the converter fits into. Then we've got the mandrels. Both of these I made on my metal lathe. They are made out of steel. I bought drill rod and made those myself. And of course, to hold the dies, you have a die holder. Let's move on with the body of the pen. For the body, we're going to have to determine how deep to drill the hole. So I'm going to line that up there, and looks about 3 inches deep. So what I'm going to do now is to chuck up the next piece of material I have in my lathe and turn it down to size, and then we'll put a tenon on it. Again, since this is an advanced video, I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing how to turn it to size. We'll get our tenon on there, and then I'll show you how I threaded it. Again, I've cut my tenon on here. This is about 460 thousandths. I think it's about 462 thousandths actually. And I've put some of the Crisco cooking spray on there, and both on the tenon and on the die. My tenon, I've usually made them around 200 thousandths deep or long. And this one I made just a little bit less, about 180 thousandths. And we'll see what happens with this. Again, I'll put some pressure on it, slight pressure on it. Start it out and back it up, back it off. Now, this die has a slot in it. Don't know much about dies. This particular die is a triple start die, 12 millimeter. It's got some sort of a slot in it, and you can apparently make, if you tighten up the set screw there, make it tighter so the teeth get a little bit, or not the teeth, but the threads get a little bit deeper. And I found that when I cut my cap, that if I don't tighten down on this, that the threads aren't deep enough to go on. So what I do is move it in a little bit at a time. Alright, turn that on a little bit. Grab the cap here and see if it fits. And it does. So I made a little ring to screw over the top of my threads so that it gives it a little bit more strength or support while I drill and tap the inside of the cap. So right now I'm going to go ahead and drill the inside here. I've got my P-bit in here, which is somewhere around 8 1/4 millimeters, which is the diameter I need for the 9 millimeter 0.75 tap that I'm going to use. And I'm going to drill up to about, what was it, 3 inches I think it was. I marked it here on my bit. And so we'll get that drilled, and then we'll tap it. I'm just about finished drilling the body here, and I've taken a lot of time. I pulled the bed out and let it cool off for a while. It's gotten pretty warm in there, and since this is such brittle material, I wanted to be very, very careful with it. Down to my last cut there. Now that I've finished drilling and got the right depth, I'm going to put my ring back on here to hopefully give it enough support. Got my M9 by 0.75 tap. Get plenty of lubricant on there. Again, I'm going to put light pressure on it. Turn a little bit and then back it off. Okay, put that in reverse. A little bit of pressure on that. Back that thing out of there. Now that we have it drilled and tapped, let's go ahead and see if this section will fit in there. Going pretty good, I think. Grab a cap here. Not bad. Okay, we've got the section and the body screwing together nicely here. And I'm ready to do the cap. Next thing I've got to do is put this on my mandrel. And then put it in the lathe. I'll put that over on the wood lathe and complete the turning.